Out on the campaign trail for the final day ahead of a set of elections that could be truly seismic as our traditional two-party system splits apart.
Thank you.
Tory leader Kemi Badenoch getting out in London boroughs that were once true blue, but she's struggling to drive a Conservative recovery, her party heading for big losses across the country.
What we're seeing is the era of two-party politics moving into multi-party politics. There are no safe seats for any party. We all have to work hard for every vote. What will be a disaster is seeing more Labour, more Lib Dems, more Green, more Reform, because none of these people are serious. The only party that is serious and that has a plan, not just for local councils, but for the country, is the Conservatives.
But voters are serious in their disdain for the two traditional parties, and this man is about to do serious damage.
Vote reform, get Starmer out. If you want real change in national government and in the approach to local government, we are the change option, and we're on that ballot paper in 99.9% of wards across the United Kingdom. And you know what? We're the only true national party. We're campaigning in all parts of the UK. And I think you're going to be surprised how much enthusiasm there is for our message.
Enthusiasm too for the Green Party. Zach Polanski looking to hurt Labour in inner London.
Tonight and tomorrow we have the campaign of our life. And I want to talk about hope. But before I get to hope, I want to talk about the other side for a moment, which is despair. So let's talk about Labour.
Which I really applaud.
Working the wealthy commuter belt, Ed Davey trained on the Tories as the Lib Dems eye hundreds more gains.
We really are pushing the Tories back. I think people are turning to us. And interestingly, these fights are increasingly between the Liberal Democrats and Reform, because people remember how dreadful the Conservatives were, and they're either coming to back Liberal Democrats or some going to Reform.
And it's not just England where Labour and the Conservatives are taking a hammering. In Wales, Plaid Cymru looked to wrest control of the Senedd from Labour. For the first time in nearly 3 decades of devolution, this would be a massive moment.
Smiling.
In Scotland, Labour have lost all hope from winning Holyrood back from the SNP. This time around, the party's hoping not to be pushed into third by Reform.
Out leading from the front, I think you've got...
Labour in turmoil, embracing for punishment at the polls. The deputy leader urging the party to stick with Starmer.
We have made some mistakes. We've needed to be set out a clearer sense of direction and a clearer purpose. I think we've started to see that coming through, and I'm pleased about that. But, you know, these elections are coming round faster than that.
What I'm getting to is that you keep saying we, but isn't it that people are really upset with Keir Starmer?
Look, Keir is the leader of the Labour Party, so of course he gets the most stick of everybody. There's no question of that.
Well, he makes the decisions.
And he doesn't make all the decisions, but obviously he takes full responsibility for the decisions of the Labour Party and of the government. And he's been the first to admit where he has made mistakes, whether it was the appointment of Peter Mandelson, whether it was around the winter fuel payments, you know, that's still an issue sometimes on the doorstep with pensioners as well.
But do you think he is the right leader to lead this change agenda?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
These elections will perhaps be looked back on as the moment where Britain broke with its two-party system that's dominated our politics for the past century. We'll potentially have national parliaments in Wales and Scotland led by national parties as Reform rips up Labour and Tory dominance in English councils, whilst the Greens march on Labour London. And as for the governing party, Labour could be heading for its worst ever local election performance as voters give their first real ballot box verdict on Starmer's government. It's going to be ugly for Labour. How bloody it gets for Starmer depends on how his cabinet and his party react. The PM hitting the phones to voters ahead of the polls. When the results land, his next job will be to persuade his MPs to stay with him. But that's his party's call, not his. Beth Rigby, Sky News, Bury.